Good morning, dear students. So, you know that in previous class we have discussed with some concept. So, that only I have written here. So, this is a point book note. So, what you wrote from the class. So, that only same thing. Whatever I explained, that is in the form of written. So, how to write you can observe from here, okay? How to write your point book notes. So, whatever you are understanding in your video, that you have to write in the written for what you understood. So, you can observe here also. Once read all this thing and then go to the video, then that time you come to know whether it is similar or not. So there in previous, once again I will repeat the things. So pH scale has 0 to 14 numbers. 7 is for a neutral, below it is acidic, and the above it is basic in nature. And increases if the H plus ion concentration is more, means then we can say that it is purely acidic in nature. As we move further, as we move from 0 to 7, the concentration of H plus ions will decreases, and we can say that increase in the OH minus ion concentration, and that time the chemical will become basic. So that same thing, increases in the H plus ion this direction, and increase in the OH minus ion, that means it is basic in nature. Decrease in the OH minus ions, as acids contains H plus ions, there is a decrease in the OH minus ions and decrease in the H plus ions. Same thing, whatever we understood, that form is written here. And after that, litmus. About litmus we have studied red litmus and blue litmus. Two types are there. Red litmus, in acidic, red litmus remain as it is, because as it is a red, in base it will change. But in blue litmus, in acid it will change, but base it will remain as it is. So after that, on the basis of litmus, we can say that the pH paper is also same. But pH paper, how it is prepared, as we know, the litmus is prepared from the lichen plant. But in pH paper, it is by the universal indicator. I told there so many indicators involved to form that particular pH paper. So it has a 0 to 14 range. And what it causes, there we did the experiment how to understand that one, acid and base. You can watch that one. After that, pH determination. So activity we went test. So there you can observe activity concept. So acetic acid, in presence of pH paper and dropper, we observe the changes and value. We consider the pH came as the 3. That means the acetic acid has a 3 acidic pH. Yes. So after that, same, this is with the pH paper, and second one is with the indicator, universal indicators. But from this we come to know that usually in laboratory we are using pH strip. So this activity is how to determine the pH value. And again in 2.11 table, I told you that you have to write in your reader, there is a column. Yes, so I have not observed this one in some students have written in the text reader also, and some they have written in the notes also. Okay, so as whatever the experiment observed, I told you to remember write down the pH value from that, and after that compare the basicity, whether it is a base. You have to observe from this. More than 7 means it is basic, less than 7 means it is acidic. So that only you have to write. So whatever example we took through the activity, through the experiment, and on the basis of observation, these concepts you have to write. So after that, so as I told from the table, what we can conclude, that less than 7 are acidic in nature, more than 7 are basic, and 7 is the neutral. And even we observed HCl is a 0. pH value is 0 means it is more acidic. NaOH is the basic because it has 14. So use of the pH value, where we have used where is the more importance is given. So we can observe in aquatic animal, growth of the plant. So even I explained there about if the soil contains pH value 6 to 6.8, if it is acidic, then if we want up to 6.68 means we will add some base, we will neutralize particular pH we want there. And about acidity, we, as I explained, we are taking some tablet antacids, so which are the tablet containing magnesium iron tablets, which will help us to neutralize the reaction. So after that, teeth. So about the teeth, pH value is reduced to 5.5 means there will be a teeth decay. So these concepts we have studied about the pH value. So whatever explanation I have given, that is in the terms of written. Even honeybee, and after that we have observed some of the plants. If you touch that one, there will be some pain. So for that irritation we are adding baking soda. If adding baking soda is nothing but we are neutralizing the reaction. So after that, salt. So salt we have studied about the pH value. So what about the pH value? As we know that acid combine with base to form an salt. So then whether the salt always has 7 as its neutral? No. So at 7, if pH value is 7 means it is neutral. Whether it always has like that? No. There are two more are there, that is the acidic salt and the basic salt. Acidic salt, when we can say less than pH value is 7, basic salt more than pH value. How it is formed, that we have studied. If a strong acid combines with strong base means it is neutral. So acidic salt when stronger acid with weaker base. When basic means stronger base with weaker acid. So these concepts we have discussed in the previous class. So you can observe all the reactions whatever I explained with examples. So like this you have to write your point book. So it will help you to understand the concept. Okay. So this is about previous class. Let's move towards our today's class concept. So in previous class we have discussed about the pH of the salt. Then what about more about salt? So we know that salt is extracted. Normal salt like which we are using for the preparation of food, that are extracted from the seawater. But as we know that acid combine with base to form an salt. Yes. So what type of salt may we have? So that concept we have to study. For that 2.13 activity, just once we will learn that one, once we will observe, then we will study from that what we can observe. So here they have given, we have to write the sum of the formula for the salt given below. So potassium sulfate, sodium sulfate, calcium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, copper sulfate, sodium chloride, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate and ammonium chloride. You must know the formula for this thing. Potassium is K, sulfate is SO4, K2SO4. Sodium sulfate, Na2SO4. Calcium sulfate, so like that. So how it is formed? From one acid with another base react to give an salt. Yes. So this concept we know. Which is acid we have to use then to form an potassium sulfate? That we have to make a list. So just move it for that one. So I have made a list of that. So just write it down. Okay. How to write means first write the acid. Acid plus base, and after that the salt you will get this one. So name they have given. So what you have to think before writing? So potassium sulfate is there. Potassium sulfate, we want K2SO4. Potassium sulfate formula is K2SO4. To get an K2SO4, we have to react acid plus base. So which acid we have to take? H2SO4, or so many acids are there, H2SO4, HCl, HNO3, hydrocarbonyl, those things. So which we have to take? As you can observe, the sulfate ion is there in the potassium sulfate. Yes. So we have to take a sulfate ion which is present in the acid. So if we take HCl, that time what will happen? It is not possible to form an K2SO4. Yes. So HCl react with KOH. What we will get? So chlorine we will get. Yes. So it is not possible. We want K2SO4 as the salt. Then to make this one, which acid we have to use? H2SO4 we have to use. H2SO4, from this we will get SO4. Then what about positive ion? Which positive ion we want? That is K we want. Potassium we want. If we want potassium means we have to use the base such as KOH. So KOH, from the KOH K plus will come, combine with SO4 minus, and formation of K2SO4 will happen, and remaining is water molecule. So from acid plus base we will get the salt, which is we can say potassium sulfate. So like that you have to think. Okay. And this you make the correction. NaOH it is. So Na, small letter A. Okay. NaOH, make the correction. And as you think, Na2SO4 we want. Na2SO4, that is sodium sulfate. Na2SO4 means SO4 ion we want from the acid. So SO4, which acid contains SO4 H2SO4. So sulfuric acid, or we can say that sulfuric acid. So sulfuric acid reacted with NaOH. So why we took NaOH? If we take the KOH, there is a no formation of K2SO4 will form. Yes. So if we want Na here, means we have to take the Na compound here. That means NaOH, which is our strong base. So after that, calcium sulfate. So same thing. So calcium sulfate H2SO4 we use, and base we want related to the calcium. So it is calcium hydroxide. Magnesium, in case of magnesium sulfate we want H2SO4 and magnesium hydroxide. This is Mg. This is Mg. Okay. So after that, copper sulfate CuSO4. These two make the corrections, NaOH and MgOH twice. And CuSO4 H2SO4, and this is a special base. CuCl2 is the one of the base. Okay, so remember that one. CuCl2 is the basic in nature. So in chemistry always we have some of the exception cases. On the basis of pH value of this one, CuCl2 is considered as a base. After that, sodium chloride. And another thing, remember, so alkali, we know that alkaline solutions, basic solutions are called as alkaline solutions. So alkaline, when we can say, means when the bases are dissolved in water, that time we can say that alkali solution. So for every basis we can't say, but most of the bases we are calling as alkali. So after that, where we stopped about CuCl2. After that, sodium chloride. So sodium chloride we want. So that's why we took HCl, because Cl we want. Yes. So strong base we used NaOH, and NaNO3 we want NO3, which is the nitrate ion. So that means HNO3, and Na2CO3 carbonyl, which is the acid, H2CO3 carbonyl acid, and after that NaOH. After that, ammonium chloride and NH4OH, NH4Cl, NH4OH is the base, HCl is the acid. So these are the formation of salt by using acid and base. So on the reaction, so here the thing is, family of the salt we have to study. Yes. So how you can say, you can observe here the sulfate ions. So these are the formation of potassium, sodium, calcium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, copper sulfate. These are the negative ions have common. That means these we can say that the sulfate containing salts. Or for example, again you can consider the sodium. So Na2SO4, sodium sulfate, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate, these are the sodium family. So like that, on the basis of the particular radical nothing but it is an ion. So on the basis of that, we are distributing the salts. Okay. So that only second point they have given. Identify the acids bases from the above salt be obtained. So we have written the acid and bases, and how many families can you identify among the salt given in the activity. So families means on the basis of the radical you have to say that which is belong to that family. The question will come such as just write and sodium salts, or you can say chloride salt or sulfate salt. That time you have to give the examples, like if sulfate salt means sodium sulfate, calcium sulfate, potassium, like that. If chloride salt means NaCl, HCl, KCl, like that. HCl is not a salt. Okay. You can write down all the points which I have explained here. Salts having the same positive negative radicals are said to belong to the same family. What I explained, that only written here. Sodium salt. So sodium salt, that means sodium should be there. Okay. Sodium sulfate, sodium chloride, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate, like that. So many examples we can write. Potassium salt, magnesium salt, ammonium salt, chloride salt, sulfate salt. That time sulfate salt, sodium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, like that you have to write. So these things are related to the salt. After this, we have studied in previous class, we have studied about the pH of the salt. Yes. So there you have to remember the acidic salt, basic salt, and neutral, how it is formed, and what about the pH value. That concept are very important. So let's move towards our next concept. So till that we have studied about the salt. So even we know that crystals of salt, yes. So you can observe always in laboratory, or the commonly salts are crystal in nature. So from that we can't say that whether is it a dry. So we will think when we are touching the salt, that time we will think, or by the observation we can say that these are dry. But what actually concept in whether it is actually dry or not, so that concept we are discussing here. So for that we are studying, we are doing one experiment here. So by the observation we can't say, by whatever we can say we can't judge properly, yes. So that's why we have to do some experiment for that. So what we are doing here, we are taking one test tube, and some of the salt we will take and we will just add into the test tube, and then we will heat, then we will observe what is the difference between those things. If there is a difference, then why it happens, that we have to study from this. Okay, first salt we are taking here, that is the copper sulfate. So copper sulfate is blue in color. So always remember, copper compounds are blue in color. So these compounds, the copper sulfate salt we will take and we will add into the test tube, or we can say in test tube we will take the copper sulfate. After that we will heat and observe, write down, okay. So first thing, we are taking the copper sulfate in the test tube, and the color of the copper is blue color here. So after that, next step, we are heating the copper sulfate, and after that we are observing. So observe here what happens. So actually what happens means, so when you will heat the copper sulfate crystals, as it is a blue in color, it will get changed to the white color. Why it happens? So color loses, color changes, means what is the meaning in this? So what is the actual process means, copper has some water molecules. On heating, water molecules will removed from the copper sulfate. So that's why the copper sulfate color get changed here. So what I told, remind that one, copper sulfate actually has the water molecule at the starting. On heating it loses the water molecule. That's why the color of the copper sulfate after heating gets changed to the white, or we can say that grayish white. So that is our dry copper sulfate. From this what we can conclude, a salt is not actually dry in it. We can observe it is dry, but definitely we can't say it has some water molecules. So even though you observe that wafers, so from the shop, when you are bringing in the packet, it is okay, so it is crispiness is there. If you kept open that one, it will be like very soft, it will become soft. What's the reason then? Because of the oxygen content, or because of, if it is a moisture, more moisture is there, that time what happens, it will attract the water molecule, it will absorb the water molecule, for that it will become soft. Like that the salt also absorb the water molecule. It contains some, not all salt, okay, not all salts, some of the salts have the water molecule compounds. So now what we will do, as it is a grayish in color, so as I told, copper sulfate when heated it loses the water molecule, and we will get a dry grayish color, grayish white color copper sulfate. That we can say that anhydrous copper sulfate. Anhydrous nothing but it loses the water molecule. There are two types, okay, anhydrous, note down, anhydrous and hydrous. Hydrous means there is a water molecule is there, anhydrous means there is no water molecule. Note down this point. Anhydrous means it contains, sorry, anhydrous means it doesn't contain, there is no water molecule, it loses. So copper sulfate loses water molecule and it forms as a anhydrous copper sulfate, there is no water molecule. And hydrate means hydrated word is related to the water, so hydrated copper sulfate means it contains water molecule. I hope it is clear. So then, as now it is anhydrous, I told at the starting copper sulfate is blue in color, so now it is white in color, no. If I will add, that means it will absorb, copper sulfate will absorb the water. Then what may be the color, whether it will be remain as it is or get changed? Think about this one. Of course, the color of the copper sulfate will get changed, as it is before this it is in the white in color. Now it turns to the blue color. Why? Because it will absorb the water molecule. That is, we can say absorb water molecule means hydrated copper sulfate. Hydrated, what I told previously, hydrated means there is a water. So the formula of hydrated copper sulfate, write down the formula of hydrated copper sulfate is CuSO4 into 5H2O. 5H2O, that means there are 5 molecules of waters are there with copper sulfate. With a metal, with a salt, we have 5 water molecules. This process is called as water of crystallization. Then now how we can define the water of crystallization? It is a fixed number of water molecules present in one formula unit of the salt. As I told, if there is a salt, 1 unit of salt is there. With that there is a fixed number of water molecules. If you write here 6, 7, it is different meaning, okay? So you should not write the formula. The copper sulfate, there is a possibility to take only 5 water molecules per unit area. It is possible to take 5 water molecules. That's 5. It has some meaning, so don't change that one. So copper sulfate into 5H2O, heat to give copper sulfate. That means water molecules removes, it will give the anhydrous copper sulfate. That time the color of the copper sulfate is white. And when you will, for this copper sulfate, when you will add the water, from white to it will get converted to the blue and it will become hydrated copper sulfate. So this is the concept. So write down the reactions, write down the points, write down the formula here. So not only this one copper sulfate, some more other salts we have, like iron sulfate. So iron sulfate, FeSO4, it has 7 molecules of water. So as what we are writing the formula of ferrous sulfate, FeSO4 7H2O. That is the formula for ferrous sulfate. So another sulfate, for example, calcium sulfate. So calcium sulfate has a common name as a gypsum. So you might have studied this one. Gypsum is a salt containing calcium sulfate. So remember gypsum, they can ask in the multiple choice questions also. So what do you mean by the gypsum, or write the formula for the gypsum. So many concepts are related to this one. So properly study. So calcium sulfate salt formula is CaSO4 2H2O, and iron sulfate you have studied, that is FeSO4 7H2O there. So remember those things, water molecules, okay? So calcium sulfate CaSO4 2H2O. So here one is the important reaction. So write down the reaction. So when calcium sulfate or we can say gypsum is heated under 373 Kelvin, that is a particular temperature where when we are heating this one, this will get converted to calcium sulfate half H2O, CaSO4 into half of H2O, and the remaining is 1 into 1 by 2 water molecule. As there are 2 water molecules are there, from that half water molecule it will take, from the calcium sulfate will take the half water molecule, and another remaining 1.5 will be removed as the water. So note on that this calcium sulfate CaSO4 half H2O is name of this compound is plaster of Paris. So remember the name of the compound is, so what I told, the name of the compound is plaster of Paris. So it has so many importance. So these plaster of Paris, that compound calcium sulfate half H2O, this we are using in you can say that one in hospitals, the doctors are using for the fractured bones. So you might have studied this one, plaster of Paris, where we are using. So actually these are using in the hospitals to fracture the bone, to purify the fractured bones, and even these are used in the artificial statue making, for making of the statues, and even in a construction process these plaster of Paris are used. So you have to remember, if they have given calcium sulfate half H2O, that name of the compound is plaster of Paris. You have to tell how it is obtained from the gypsum. Gypsum formula is that, all thing you have to remember, and even how you can get the plaster of Paris from heating and the compound, you will get the plaster of Paris. So all the reaction is very important there. And even one thing is calcium sulfate half H2O, CaSO4 half H2O is called as the calcium sulfate hemihydrate. So hemihydrate, hydrate I told, hydrate means water molecule, hemi means half of water molecule. So calcium sulfate. Then there is one question arises, yes, so how it is possible to take the half molecule? So one molecule we can take anything, yes. So already water is a one molecule. From that, as calcium sulfate is taking half water molecules, the question arises in our mind, yes. This is because you can observe in the reaction when calcium sulfate, this is hemihydrated calcium sulfate hemihydrated molecule. When it reacts with 1.5 of water, we will get a gypsum, or you can say that from the gypsum on heating we will get the plaster of Paris. So why it is half of H2O means one molecule can contain having half of H2O, or we can say that this calcium sulfate, 2 units of calcium sulfate has the one particular mole of the water. So one molecule of a water contains in the 2 unit of calcium sulfate. So you can observe 2 formula units of calcium sulfate. That means 2 calcium sulfate will share one water molecule. So 2 calcium sulfate will share the 2 water molecules. Sorry, 1 water molecules. That means 1 calcium sulfate will have the half water molecule, and another calcium sulfate will have the half water molecule. That's why the formula of calcium sulfate came as hemihydrated. Hydrated word is related to the H2O, and hemi is related to the half and calcium sulfate. So remember this one, 2 formula units of calcium sulfate shares 1 water molecule. That's why calcium sulfate has the half water molecule. So these are the concepts what we have studied about the pH, family of the salt, and the pH of the salt. After that, our crystals of the salt are really dry. So that thing, you can observe what activity we did, that is related to, you have to note down there iron sulfate, sorry, ferrous sulfate I have explained there, that also you write, and another example, and formation of gypsum, after that plaster of Paris, how we can obtain, and some points are there, you have to read and understand the concept. Okay, so now you would be able to answer the question whether the molecule of Na2CO3 10H2O is wet. So question you observe what they have given, whether the molecule of Na2CO3 H2O is wet, whether it is a wet when we are observing. No, when we are observing, that time it is not wet. But when we will do the experiment, that time we can say that the water molecule it contains, but it is not actually wet. Yes, the crystals are not actually wet. They have the water molecule, but they are not wet. They are actually dry. That it contains some of the water molecules. So many concepts are there. And about plaster of Paris, you have to remember how it is formed from the calcium sulfate to H2O. When we will heat, we will get the CaSO4 half of H2O, which is called as the plaster of Paris. So from again, if we add water to this one, plaster of Paris, we will get a gypsum. And even there are so many uses I have explained, and even in text also they have given in reader, so you can observe that one. Okay, this is about all concept of acid, base and salt. Here our unit completes. So if you have any doubt, you can ask. And about question and answers I have given in a previous class. If you have any doubt, if you want any clarification, you can ask me there. And the remaining questions I am giving today. So be prepared, study well, and the points, make down the points, write down the points. From that you will understand, and ready for the class test as it over. So I will inform you in next week. I will take the unit test. So be prepared, well prepared, and study little point also. Listen the class carefully. Every point you have to study. Okay. And even some of the important concept I have to explain you, that is needed for you in future. You needed that concept. So okay. So when you are adding, so if you want to mix, as we know, we are doing the experiment as so what acids will conduct the electricity when we will add to the water. Then whether if you have the water and acid, okay, in one test tube you have the water and in another test tube you have the acid, in beaker you consider. So whether you are adding water to the acid or acid to the water, it is major thing, because in laboratory we are doing the experiment. We have to be careful. Always you have to add acid to the water. Okay, what I am telling, that listen properly. Okay, so for example, you consider this test tube is water, this one is a acid. So you are adding acid to the water, not water to the acid, because acid is a very what we can say, exhaustic. Exothermic process will happen. So exothermic process is nothing but heat liberation. Remember this one. Okay, note on the point. Exothermic means there is a liberation of a heat. Endothermic means there is a absorption of heat. So endothermic process we can observe in lemon juice. When we are making lemon juice, you can observe water is when we add the citric acid in that, citric acid is nothing but lemon. So lemon content we will add to the water, means it will become cold. There is an endothermic process. Exothermic means it will, whatever the acid we will add to the water, that time it is little bit hot. Due to the hotness of the acid, the solution will become hot. That we can say that exothermic process. Heat liberation is exothermic, heat absorption is endothermic process. And always you have to add acid to a water. If water is there, acid is there, you have to add acid to the water. Okay, so if you do the reverse, if you add the water to the acid, there is a explosion will happen, because acid is a more reactive and it is very dangerous. If you add water, it will there is a explosion will happen. So you should not do that thing. It is very important to inform you. So that's why I explained that one. So after that, other things are okay. And another thing you remember, whenever we react a metal with the acid or the base, so that time there is a formation of hydrogen gas. Okay, hydrogen gas formation. So why I am telling means, these are the concept which we need. And hydrogen gas burning, in previous classes we have studied that one. So whenever the hydrogen gas burns, if we take for example, any chemical reaction is going, if there is a revelation of the hydrogen, if you take the candle which is burnt, if you take that candle nearer to that hydrogen gas, it will it will close the fire of that candle. There is no burning. In presence of hydrogen, the candle will not burn. So that is the main important major thing is hydrogen. So this use of this hydrogen we are using in the extinguishers, you know. So to stop the fire we are using the hydrogen gas. So it has more importance. So these are the some things we must have to learn from these. Yes. So here one concept is there. You have been provided with 3 test tube. One of them contains distilled water and other 2 contains an acid solution. So you remember that red litmus paper is given. So one test tube you have acid, another you have base, and another we have the water, and you have provided only red litmus. So red litmus, when you dip into the acid, it will become as it is, it will remain as it is. When you dip into the water, it will remain as it is. When you dip into the base, you can say that the color changes. But here think that, so when in base it will get blue color, that time if there is a changes in the blue, no, as red litmus. So just consider there is a 3 beakers. So one have acid and another base and another water. So I have only red litmus. So what I can do, so first I will dip into the water. So there is no change in the color. So we don't know which is acid, which is a base, which is a water. From the red litmus we have to guess. Yes. So what I will do, in one beaker I will dip. So if it get changes blue color, so red litmus get changes to the blue color, that beaker we can say that it is base, it is a base. So for example, if I dip into this solution, this I know, but the concept they have not given. So if it is changes blue color, then what I will do, as it is a red litmus, now it is converted to the blue. Yes. So this blue litmus little bit will be blue, no, that I will dip into the another solution. If this solution the color remain as it is, means it will become what, it is definitely a water. If the color changes blue to red, means it is definitely acid. So I hope you understood my point. So if first I will check which one is the base, in 3 test tube also I will dip. So which one is the base, that time I will get the color change, the color changes to blue. So again, as it is now converted to the blue, when I dip into the acid, it should get converted to the red. Yes. So I will dip into the remaining 2 test tube, in which we will get the color change, that is the acid, and the remaining one is water. So that's it. So the question answers I will send you, and write it down properly and neatly, write all those things. And even diagram, you have to practice this diagram, it will come for the exam. Okay, so practice all the things and get ready, prepare well, study well. So in next class we will continue.